The movie begins in Elysium, an interstellar ark constructed in response to Earth's overpopulation crisis in 2174, which was designed to transport 60,000 people to Tanis, an Earth-like planet. The depletion of Earth's resources had forced humanity to seek a new home, and Elysium was the solution. Given the journey's time exceeding a century, the crew entered hypersleep, with designated teams to maintain the ship. 8 years into the mission, Earth transmitted a dire message. "You're all that's left of us. Good luck, God bless, and Godspeed." Corporal Bauer awakens from hypersleep in a dim, cramped pod aboard Elysium's spaceship. Distorted and with memory loss, he struggles to get his bearings. The ship is malfunctioning with power fluctuations. Alone in the hypersleep chamber, he frees himself from the pod's wires and finds a flashlight. Exploring his surroundings, he discovers all the hypersleep pods are empty except one, which houses Lieutenant Peyton. Recognizing his name on the pod, Bauer recalls his identity, but the rest of the crew is missing. As Bauer stumbles through the malfunctioning ship, he finds his locker containing clothes and a picture of his girlfriend. While changing, he notices a tattoo on his arm, marking him as part of Team 5. The control panel is non-functional, the bridge door is locked, and there is no way to open it. Scattered tools and marks on the door suggest someone tried to escape. Frustrated, Bauer repeatedly strikes Lieutenant Peyton's capsule, but nothing happens. Deciding to shave, Bauer begins when the ship suddenly shakes, releasing Peyton from his capsule. Disoriented, Peyton can't remember their destination or mission, but recalls their training. He locates the emergency power unit and reactivates the control panel. Despite their efforts, the communication lines have yet to respond. The ship shakes again, and they hear loud noises in the ventilation shafts, which Peyton attributes to the unstable nuclear reactor, causing system reboots. Seeking an exit, Bauer climbs into the ventilation shafts while Peyton guides him using the ship's maps. Initially, Bauer finds nothing, but eventually follows a spider to a shaft grill, where he discovers a new crew member's body. After struggling in the tight space, he manages to push the grill off and enters a room, losing contact with Peyton in the process. This room's door can be pushed open, allowing Bauer to explore the hallways. While exploring, Bauer encounters a woman named Nadia, who runs upon seeing him. He chases her and stumbles upon a body hanging from the ceiling. As he processes this, Nadia attacks him from behind, tackling him to the ground. Threatening him with a knife, she searches his pockets and demands he remove his boots. Suddenly, strange growling noises echo down the hallway, causing Nadia to flee abruptly. The hanging body is grabbed by a group of humanoid, cannibalistic creatures. Terrified, he returns to the bootlocker room and hides in the ventilation shafts. Regaining contact with Peyton, he covers his communicator to avoid being detected by the monsters. One creature enters the room, finds the body that fell from the shafts, and takes it away. Once the coast is clear, Bauer updates Peyton on the situation. He suggests they try to reach the bridge, but Peyton doubts anyone is left there and reminds him that the ship wasn't designed to return to Earth. As they discuss their next move, Bauer starts to regain some memories. He recalls the planet Tanis from childhood TV shows and remembers his lover. Crew training also allowed members to bring their spouses, so he and Peyton's companions should be somewhere on board. Bauer wants to find them before the creatures do. Still, Peyton argues their priority should be regaining control of the vessel to save everyone. While searching the area, Bauer discovers anti-riot guns in a closet and arms himself. He asks Peyton to guide him to the reactor bay so he can reset it manually. During his journey, Bauer spots someone passing by. He steps back to hide, noticing his trembling hands, a possible sign of Pandorum, a disorder caused by deep space travel stress that can lead to psychosis. If you didn't know this fun fact, subscribe to the channel. Peyton recounts the tale of the old Eden mission, where an officer had a psychological breakdown and, convinced the mission was evil, launched all the hypersleep capsules into space, putting the crew in danger. As Bauer explores, unaware he's being followed, he discovers a hanging body that is still alive. Shepard, a member of Team 4, initially attacks Bauer, mistaking him for a creature. Bauer reassures him and helps him down. Shepard, clueless about the situation, refuses to take orders. When creatures appear, they escape together. Bauer hides, but Shepard gets caught and consumed. Poor guy. Bauer's shot alerts the monsters, and they chase him until he falls from a high platform. Another crew member, Man, drags him into a locked room. Man doesn't speak English, which makes communication difficult. Bauer notices Man's tattoo and realizes he's from the agriculture unit. Bauer tells him to wait while he searches for the reactor. After losing contact with Peyton, Bauer reaches the cargo room and is attacked by Nadia. Man saves Bauer, and a fierce battle happens. Bauer fires his gun, stopping the fight, and urges the team to work together. They agree after Bauer tells him he can fly the ship if he can reset the reactor. Nadia leads them to a door that only opens during a reactor surge, forcing them to fend off creatures until the surge hits. Bauer holds the monsters back with his gun. Inside, they find the embryonic chamber where Nadia has been surviving. The chamber contains livestock and wildlife for repopulation, though 30% of the specimens have been lost. Nadia shares food with them, and they plan their next move. Meanwhile, Peyton struggles with the door, growing paranoid as he hears noises. Suddenly, a young man, naked and confused, appears from the wires. It's Gallo. He claims to have come from the bridge, but soon passes out. When he regains consciousness, Peyton notices his Team 4 tattoo. Gallo explained he had to kill his teammates in self-defense when they were overcome with Pandorum, which explains the blood covering him. Meanwhile, Bauer, Nadia, and Man continue to search for the reactor. Passing through the hypersleep chamber, where most capsules are empty as it serves as the creature's primary hunting ground. Man stays behind, observing something, and Bauer wants to look for his wife. Nadia clarifies that only officers are present in this part of the ship. The floor collapses between them as they proceed, dropping them into a sewer filled with human bones. This saves their butts because a creature arrives but cannot see them in the sewer. Once it leaves, they climb out, only to find it waiting. A fight starts, but Man arrives just in time to help defeat the monster. Another creature observing them calls for reinforcements. The trio runs, spotting a crew member walking from a capsule, but has no time to save him as the creatures get to him first. They find shelter in a barricaded chamber where they meet Leland, the ship's cook. While preparing a meal using water and algae, Nadia shares her theory with Bauer. The creatures are mutated crew members, transformed by an accelerator injected into the officers to help them adapt to Tannis' environment. Leland, awake for a long time, overhears and confirms the theory. He recounts the story simultaneously with Gallo, who is trying to drive Peyton mad. When Earth was destroyed by an unknown catastrophe, the ship received a message about the tragedy. Gallo, losing all hope, goes insane, kills his team, and induces Pandorum in others, creating a violent, tribal culture before returning to hypersleep. As Leland concludes his story, Bauer and the others lose consciousness, only to awaken to find themselves tied up by Man, who intends to eat them. Man stabs Nadia and moves to Bauer. Still, Bauer convinces him to change his mind by explaining that the ship is on the brink of shutdown and they must reset the reactor to survive. Man releases them and gives Bauer his radio to contact Peyton, who confirms the ship only has 47 minutes left and provides a path to the reactor. As they make their way, they encounter a young creature, indicating the monsters are reproducing. Nadia urges them not to kill it, but the creature alerts its peers, forcing the group to run and hide in a room with civilian hypersleep capsules. Bauer searches for his wife, but realizes she never came. She broke up with him before he enlisted, and she died when Earth was destroyed. Bauer nearly loses his sanity, but Nadia encourages him to survive and restart a new Earth. I think Nadia just made a move on Bauer, but it's too soon. At that moment, Bauer remembers Peyton's wife, Marianne, a crucial realization. Meanwhile, Gallo continues to provoke Peyton, attempting to drive him insane. He insists everyone should launch themselves in the pods, mirroring the disastrous Eden mission. Peyton, however, views this as suicidal and holds out hope that Bauer can save them. As Gallo's nose starts to bleed and the argument escalates, he becomes increasingly violent. Grabbing a sedative gun, he threatens Peyton, demanding to be launched in a capsule. Peyton pretends to comply, but initiates hypersleep once Gallo is inside the pod. Bauer, Nadia, and Mann reach the reactor room, which doubles as the creature's lair. While crossing on a walkway, it collapses beneath them. Nadia makes it across, but Bauer lands on a metal beam, and Mann holds the walkway to prevent it from crushing the creatures below. Bauer carefully lowers himself to the floor, covering himself with monster skin to mask his scent, and makes his way to a nearby ladder. He reaches the reactor, but his flashlight falls, waking the monsters. Mann drops the walkway, killing many creatures before escaping. At the same time, Bauer successfully restarts the reactor, restoring power to the ship and killing more monsters in the process. The mutant leader engages Mann in a brutal hand-to-hand fight, ultimately winning. Still, he hesitates when encountering the mutant child, who quickly kills him. Meanwhile, Bauer and Nadia follow Leland to safety, pursued by creatures. Leland betrays them, locking the door behind him to avoid capture. With the power restored, Peyton opens the bridge door just as Gallo escapes the pod. After a struggle, Peyton sedates Gallo, triggering memories. Peyton realizes he is actually Gallo, and the main man he thought he was talking to was a hallucination of his younger self. The real Peyton was among those Gallo killed, and Gallo's amnesia led him to assume Peyton's identity. Leland arrives at the bridge, pretending to be Bauer's ally, but Gallo kills him with a sedative injection. Nadia and Bauer then arrive, and Bauer retrieves his gun from Leland's body. Accessing the flight log, they learn 923 years have passed since the mission began. Gallo admits his deception, which Bauer had already suspected, and opens the shutters to reveal total darkness outside. No stars. Gallo tries to drive Bauer insane, arguing that the absence of God and law means absolute freedom. Bauer clings to the need for law and order and attacks Gallo. Nadia interrupts with a crucial discovery: bioluminescent creatures floating around in the ship. They realize the ship landed on Tanis 800 years ago and is now submerged at the ocean's bottom. Gallo seizes the distraction to attack Bauer, but Nadia intervenes. Wounded from Leland's earlier attack, Nadia struggles against Gallo, who overpowers her. Bauer, hallucinating, shoots at imaginary mutants, breaking a window and allowing water to flood the ship, killing Gallo and the remaining creatures. Bauer and Nadia manage to get into a flooded pod with limited air. Bauer puts an oxygen mask on Nadia's face. The ship's computer detects the emergency and launches over 1,000 capsules, including theirs. The movie concludes as Bauer and Nadia surface near a beach and watch as the other pods emerge, bringing enough people to start rebuilding a new Earth. And with this, the movie ends. If you enjoyed this recap, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.